Hey guys, welcome back to TAMIYA Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. So, this is part one of the Kyosho legend, which is the beautifully iconic Optima Mid. In my opinion, this is Kyosho's best car, vintage car. It's so iconic, and it changed the goalposts in RC racing back in the day. So right off the bat, obviously, it's not TAMIYA. So if this is not for you, switch off now. And if you've stayed with us, awesome. So as I say, this is part one. So we're going to strip it down. We're going to have a look at it. We're going to take the vintage. It's got this three-step speedo in and what have you. We're going to take the bits of it out, take the shocks off, check they've got oil. We're not going to do the cosmetic side of it today. We're just going to get the radio gear fitted and make sure everything's working as it should. We're going with 2.4 modern day radio gear. It's got two servos in at the moment, but we'll whiz one out. I'm also going to just use the Hobby Wing 1060 speedo, which I believe has got a 12 turn limit. We've got a little micro receiver to fit in it, and I found what I want to use. I found this lovely Yokomo Impulse 14 turn modified motor. I've no idea if it works. I've got it in a job lot, but it looks in half decent condition apart from brushes, but we've got new brushes. So we'll get that cleaned up, tidied up and tested, and all being well, that'll be the motor of choice, which will be awesome for a car like this. I don't want to put too much power through the old girl. So let's get cracking. As you can see, she's in overall great nick. Body shell needs a bit of work, it needs tidying up. I've got some new reproduction decals for it, which is a little bit unfortunate. I didn't want to go down that route, but I need to get underneath the decals to get the actual shell cleaned up. Oh, that's a tight fit. Don't want to damage it. So anyway, that's the shell. So as you can see, she's all original. Old receiver. Just turn that around so you can see the old step speed controller. It would have been quite nice to run it like this, but I don't know. I'm going to stick with slightly more modern stuff in. So straight off the bat, the gearboxes feel really nice. Nice and tight, and the overall drive is very free, which is nice. So yeah, all in all, everything seems pretty straight and ready to go. So first step, we'll get the wing off, we'll get the wheels and we'll get the wheels off, we'll get the shocks off, and then we'll start taking this radio gear out, and we'll see what we're left with. Right, that's the chassis stripped down to as much as I need it. As I say, I'm happy with the diffs and the overall drive. It feels lovely and smooth. What else is there? The hardest bit about all that was getting this switch cover off, this switch mount here. I had to loosen all this top deck off to get into the two screws underneath, which was a bit of a pain, but never mind. So as I say, that's where we want it. I think the next stage now is obviously to fit the motor. So we've got the motor plate and we've got the pinion it came with. Looks like it's a 22 pinion, which I'm just going to use. So I think what I need to do now, I need to get cracking on this motor and make sure that this Yokomo Impulse 14 is going to work. It's a modified motor, so it's got timing. So what I'm going to need to do first is clean it. I'm going to strip it all down, clean it, and then I need to solder some new motor wires on with the bullet crimps, bullet connectors. And then what we'll do is we'll get the radio gear just on the bench here, and we'll just stick a battery to it, and we'll make sure that I've tested this servo already, but I just want to test the whole thing and make sure that it's all sort of compatible and it's working, especially this thing. So let's get cracking with the motor. Right, I've soldered the wires on. I've put some new brushes in because the brushes it had were dead. I've not stripped the motor yet. As I say, I wanted to make sure it's working. So I've connected the battery up and we've got, it works. So well chuffed with that. I'll strip it now and we will just get it all cleaned up, try clean the comm up a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Right guys, so I've just hooked a system I want to use up. Unfortunately the vintage servo is in, the plug's too big for the micro receiver, even if I cut the little fins off. So not to worry, so I've got another steering servo which is working fine. So that's good. Got the 1060, changed a little plug over to NIM, and it's on forward brake and reverse just with 7.2, and it lives. I'll tell you what, it's got a little bit of a kick, that motor. So, and it's only going to get better because they're brand new brushes, so we need to run it in. So as I say, we'll get it stripped, all cleaned up, we'll run it in a little bit more, but yeah, that's all. I'll show you the mess today. It's not great, is it? It's not exactly tidy. Got some cool motors, so obviously that's the motor we've just fixed up. We've got some other vintage stuff. That's a Team Kimwald modified, that's a Peak modified, that's just a stock, and we've got a Team Yokomo Zero modified there, and some old AS electronic speed controllers to try at one point, a couple of armatures. Anyway, it's a mess, so let's get cracking with the car. So next stage is to get the servo out, fit the new one in, I've centered it, and then just start bolting the electronics to it. We'll get the motor in as well. Installed, and I've greased the spur gear, set the correct ratio between the teeth, and put the cover back on. So now I'm thinking that the speedo is going to go there, and receiver can go round about there. There's plenty of room in the body. Obviously we'll tuck these wires through and under or whatever. So yeah, let's stick those two units down and tie wrap it up, and then we'll plug it in and give it a test, see how it looks. Right, that's pretty much that done. So I've obviously just tie wrapped these wires on, stuck with I've used a gel tape for the speedo because it gets a much better grip, because it's kind of sat on a lip but it's solid. Receivers in as normal. Put a little aerial up, don't know if you needed to, but I've done it anyway. And just tie wrapped to motor wires there, so that looks quite tidy. Let's just give it a quick test to make sure we're all working. Switch it on. So steering. So it's an old servo, so it's not super powerful, but it'll perfect for this car. And then power. Reverse. So that's awesome. We're happy with that. What's next? Next we'll strip the shocks down and we'll see if they've got some oil in them. Right, we're getting there now. So everything's bolted back on. Rear shock super smooth. Fronts are smooth, but I don't think they're original springs on there. They're a little bit tight, but they're not tight, but they could do with being a little bit slacker. But not a lot we can do about that. But yeah, all in all, it's nice. And the diffs are nice. The whole thing. Yeah. Right, I think I'll just stick a battery in it and we'll just stick it on the floor and just make sure it is gonna go. It's always nice to give them a little outing, isn't it? Wow, it's fast. Damn, that's quick. Right, that's the end of part one. That's awesome. I'm itching to get this body finished and get this thing out. Absolutely awesome. It's way quicker than I thought it was going to be, and that's on 7.2 nim. Might even try a 2S on there if we can get dry conditions. Tyres need gluing, but I never glue the tyres because I move these cars on usually when I'm done with them. So, and especially with these being so rare and in such good condition. Anyway, yeah, really enjoyed that. That's been something different for me. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. It's much appreciated. And if you are new to this channel, if you can please consider liking and subscribing to support us in our weekly videos, that would be awesome. And as always, guys, most importantly, happy ass.